Hi, and welcome to Studio SN. My name is Sara Naumann, and today I'm going to show you how to do some easy metal stamped pendants featuring supplies from ImpressArt. My metal pendant is actually part of my handmade card, which I think makes a really fun gift presentation. So here's the pendant. It's been strung onto some ball chain, which has been tucked inside this little manila envelope. And you can pick up a ball chain at your local craft store or bead shop. I think it's a really nice way to make handmade jewelry even if you're not a jewelry maker. So why don't I show you the metal stamping technique, and then we can come back and talk about the rest of the card. There are a couple of tips to getting a really good stamped impression, and the first has to do with the surface on which you're hammering. And you want to work on a table or a desk that's even, level, and really sturdy. So avoid tables with any wobbly legs. And the second is that if you're like me and you have some piles of craft supplies on your desk, a few taps of the hammer can result in a bit of a crafty avalanche. So clear off those piles before you start stamping. Perhaps this is just me, but I have a feeling I'm not the only one with some piles of things on my desk that have a tendency to slide when you start hammering. So just a little tip from me. A couple of other things that you're going to need. First, you'll need a hammer, of course, and I'm working with the one from ImpressArt, and this is the one that is designed to work with metal stamping, and I really like the smaller size. It just fits perfectly in my hand. So I need to have a hammer. I'm going to set that aside. I also need to have a steel stamping block, and this really makes the stamping a lot easier. And you can see it's just a little block. It's in the proportion to my hand. And when you get it in the box, you'll also get these 4 little feet, and you need to peel off the liner on the adhesive feet and just stick one in each corner. And that's going to protect your work surface and also prevent this from sliding around too much. You're also going to need a metal pendant or metal piece to do your stamping on. And I'm working with a little river stone. This is a 3/4 inch circle of pewter. And if I can show you the package on here, can you see where it says soft strike, that little label on there? That is a type of metal, and it gives a really detailed stamp with just one tap. So if you're just starting out with metal stamping, you may want to look especially for that soft strike, because it really is perfect for beginners or even those of us who've done a little bit more metal stamping. It just gets a perfect impression every time. It's really worth it. Now the next thing I'm going to need is some stamp straight tape. And you may think, like I did, do I really need to have the tape? And what I discovered is that it makes a really big difference. So the stamp straight tape is just a roll of repositionable white tape. And the nice thing about it is that it not only holds down your metal piece, but you can also make marks on it so that you can indicate exactly where you're going to stamp, so you get some really precise placement. So I think you can see, if I just demonstrate quickly with the metal stamps, if I simply put this down and I go to tap it with the hammer, I think you can see the potential for moving around on here. So this is where the tape really comes in handy. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of this tape, I just cut it off the roll, and position it across my metal piece. So it's holding it down onto my stamping block. Now the next thing I can do, because I know I want to stamp XOXO, so I'm going to take a regular pen and just make 1, 2, 3, 4 little marks. And this way I know exactly where I can position my stamps. So I've got my X here, and this is another nice thing about the ImpressArt metal stamps. If I can tilt this, I think you can see where it says ImpressArt on here. You want to make sure when you get ready to stamp that the logo is facing you. So this way you can place your thumb right where that logo is, and this will ensure precise placement and correct orientation of the letters. It doesn't matter so much with an X and an O, but when you start stamping R's and S's and N's, you want to make sure that they don't end up, you know, your N is a U, for example. So you don't have to do this fiddly thing where you try and figure out where exactly the orientation is. So make sure that you've got your thumb on here and simply nest up the bottom of that stamp with the line of your tape. Now when you're holding it, don't hold the stamp up here, because that's not going to give enough control. So nicely down here at the bottom, just slide that up and grab your hammer and just one quick tap. and there's the X. The nice thing about the soft strike is you don't need to pound over and over again. One tap will do it. So here's my O. Got that. Come back again with my X. Stamp that. And then my O again. And there we go. So let me pull off my tape. And you can see my perfectly stamped XOXO. So let me hold this up. Maybe you can see it a little bit better that way. There we go. Perfectly done, quick, easy, and just one tap of the hammer for each one of those letters. Now, this is my metal stamped, and I can also emphasize the letters with some black ink. So let's take a look at how to do that. To add definition to my metal stamped piece, I just need a fine tip permanent marker. Something like a fine tip Sharpie is going to do the trick. And my font set that I use, this is the newsprint, and this is the 3mm lowercase. So I really want to make sure that with these little letters that I use a fine tip that is as fine as I can get. And so this is the 0.5mm tip. I think you can see how small that is. So I'm just going to hold down my metal charm with one hand and then simply color in the letters with the pen. And the grooves of the letters will really help guide my pen on here. So I'm just filling that in. If I accidentally go over onto the metal piece, just grab onto a baby wipe or a tissue or something and swipe that off and it'll come right off. You do need to work pretty quickly, but it will come right off. So then you've got some added emphasis onto your pendant. So let me bring back in my original card, and you can see I mentioned that I strung this onto a ball chain, and the rest of the ball chain is inside this mini coin envelope. And the coin envelope has been decorated with some pieces of washi tape. It's also been sealed with a little bit of washi tape there too. The two brown designs that I've got, these coordinating sets are from We Are Memory Keepers, and then the contrasting teal is from MT. So those are just going across that mini coin envelope, and I think they match perfectly with the pattern papers, and these are from Hot Off the Press. This is their Far From Home collection. So a really nice vintage map and then some floral paper on here too. Just in contrast with those coordinating pieces of cardstock, the brown and the green. A little bit of sheer brown ribbon on there just to add some softness. And this is a really nice way. It makes it very easy for someone to simply open up that little coin envelope and pull out their gift. Great way to create a gift with a card presentation. So this is how you can do some simple metal stamping for pendants. I hope you enjoyed today's show. For more ideas and inspiration, please do stop by my website at saranaumann.com. Thank you so much for joining me on Studio SN, and I will see you again next time.